Before the world knew flame or fate, before the sanctum raised its gate, a dragon wandered tired and worn through misty skies of silver morn. It searched for peace, a place to lie, beneath the glow of moonlit sky, and in a valley hushed between two gentle hills of twilight green, it bowed its head in softened light and drifted deep to dreams of night. It dreamed of fire burning bright, of honor shining pure and white, of moonlit sacred, calm and true, of secrets old and wonders new. From dragon dreams the whispers grew, a hint of halls the world once knew, where mystery danced in shadowed air, and magic bloomed in hearts that dared. That was the dawn of what would be, where five fought fate and unity. Their story closed, their watch now done, five voices fading into one. And so I speak across the yore, to those who brave what lies before. O hero born of flame or field, of moonlit craft or truth concealed, step forth, past revealed, consume your fate unsealed. For now the sanctum stirs to see what new made legends you will be. The dragon breathes the dream once more, a calling through the ancient door. Hero before the past is through, the tale now waits to open you. Take clues I've left and missed and do. Seek what is hidden, chase what's true. For the sanctum keeps its promise still. In silent halls and moonlit chill, it watches all you choose to do. And it's long been waiting here for you.
Left off, well, where we started last time, is we were all like chilling. We were like leaving in a big ass group going through all these courtyards. And we seen this chick. She was just like kind of wandering a little mysteriously. And Solaris ran up to her and was just kind of like, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing?" And then we seen her, so we all followed, and I guess what she was going to was some sort of ceremony. So we all just kind of vibed for a minute. We held hands, we skipped like little fairies, and it was a hell of a time. And then we went off and we made our wreaths. We had to go through some mysterious arches, but afterwards we had quite the scenery. We had a meadow, we had some forest, we had other things as well. But the main focus was making wreaths. So we chose to go to the forest in the meadow and we gathered our materials. One of them was we made some interesting wreaths.
Yes.
it, it's fine. I mean, one of them had a lucky rabbit's foot. I'm pretty sure it was like fresh.
Fresh.
The
Yes,
other
yes,
one
yes.
also had some blood and some roses. And then the other one had a bunch of tasty, beautiful berries. Those were like the highlights of our wreath. Well, and spruce and all that good stuff. Oh yeah, no, don't let me forget about the rocks.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, rusty spoon as well. Yeah, from there, we learned a cool ass spell that can help us like create. I mean, initially it was intended to like be to make stuff, but we kind of found a creative use for it a little bit later after we found our homie Bramble. He was kind of also doing some shady shit over in the shady shit. So we kind of followed him and tailed him for a little bit. And then we ran into this kind of, let's just say impolite dude. He wasn't really a big fan of Schnurr, but I think she grew on him a little bit. And he eventually kind of was just like, oh, okay, you guys are all right. So we kept on following Bramble and we found this greenhouse that I guess we really don't know what's in it yet. Not fully, at least. So we kind of tried to do some breaking and entering because that's always good for the soul. Did some rock throwing.
Yeah.
And, well, I can't even say we kidnapped the mandrakes. But we ran into some mandrakes as an alarm system for the garden, which is pretty damn clever. And we skated away with mandrakes in our pockets.
Mhm.
I think that's just about where we left off.
Yeah. And with that, the day of green would have come to an end. Um, and it doesn't end with this triumphant horn or the ringing of bells as classes would, but a feeling that you know the day has ended. You have been successful in your endeavors. You guys, both you and Solaris, have tamed a mandrake, Siphus and Jeff, and all of you have gained this battle experience as this was your first ever fight. And you feel significant in now holding the keys to this treasure trove that you did initially tend to break into. And with that, this feeling of success would pulse in your heart, and you would know that the day has concluded. Many days would follow, 7 days, in fact. The days of 7 that followed would be filled with many things. It doesn't feel as if this is some sort of holiday where everyone begins to rest and lounge about in the joy. You can almost feel the preparation in the air. Everyone ever sharpening their spells. You see more and more students in the halls just lounging about, reading, studying. The courtyards are filled with events day in and day out. It is but a passing quick glance at these 7 days. The bells that ring, the lanterns that are lit before dusk and forgotten by dawn. It is the preparation in the air that moves you forward so quickly. You see students moving in these slow ritual spirals through the grounds. Wreaths of evergreen and moonbloom are replaced daily, hung in different spots across the halls through the various dorms and doors. If there's any specific teachers that you guys would like to visit during this passing week to kind of get familiar with where your classes will be and to be mapped out, this would be the time in which you would be learning that. So we're going to go around in the same order that we drafted classes in. So Schnurr, followed by Ray, Jimbo, and then Savage, who's making his return today.
Oh,
I think that I shall go and find my good old pal for my dark arts class.
Varian Thornshade.
Yes, Mr. Thornshed.
So, by this time, instruction ledgers, pieces of paper that look very familiar to the books that you guys filled out when you originally got here, have made their way into these tables that adorn each of your resting spots in the actual dormitories. And this pamphlet would give you a layout of genuinely how to get you to these 4 core classes, and then at the bottom, additional instructions for how to make it to your 5th class that you've selected as your elective. And so this information would become present to you now. The Varian Thornshade is the teacher of Shadow Arts and Umbral Studies. Umbral Studies is a later class, but you have selected Shadow Arts. And this classroom is located in the Mirror Ward, which is the same place that your Defensive Arts class is as well. It's a big room that is just up the stairs from where the main feast area is, just up those big stairs that kind of arched around and took you by the medical wing. But the more grandioso stairs, the bigger, larger, more grand ones, center of the room. Just up and above those is where the defensive room is, kind of back there in one of these side hallways. But this room is long, encapsulating, not measuring to the space you would think from the door on the outside and it just being off the side of one of these halls, but this long, giant cathedral of a room that stretches on and on and on and on. Maybe for what seems like 700, 800 feet. I mean, it is just gigantically ill-proportionate to what you would think. Large mirrors hanging the walls or maybe embedded into them. It's rather hard to tell, as this magical ripple in the middle of the mirrors is more entrancing than the details surrounding how it sits affixed to the wall. And these large mirrors that adorn the walls all the way down. Directly to the right of where you enter into, there is a long walkway that is greeted to the side by an L-shaped desk that is kind of carved up out of this white marble-looking rock. Very, very grand and bright in this silver and darkened brick room. You see the same adorning lanterns that carry down the hallways, this magical fire sputtering amidst them. Balanced, every couple mirrors or so every 2 or 3 mirrors, there's a lantern hanging on the wall in between. And then just the large grand walkway in the very middle of the room. And then Varian Thornshade, he'd be lounging around in here from time to time. Still things for him to do, though he's not teaching. He would know that students are going to be finding their ways to their classroom and stuff, so he would kind of just be waiting, maybe scribbling in a journal, the soft etching of his quill, magically writing his thoughts down as he monologues out loud. Are you accompanied with Jimbo on this venture? Both of you kind of trot in.
I do not believe so.
I'm very interested in Aetherfolk. I think that could be very fun. And what was the other one?
All right, well,
it wasn't Thornshade. I was kind of intrigued by Quillrite.
We'll give everyone a chance.
That's
We're
cool.
going in the same order we drafted classes, so it's Schnur, Ray, Jimbo, Savage. But I was just asking if you were going to be with her on this expedition. Expedious expedition. So Thornshade is there writing with this magic quill that's transcribing his thoughts down into a book. In Schnur, you enter into this large hall of mirrors.
Wow. Well, what's poppin', Prof?
The Fae. Did not expect a meeting from you so quickly after our exchange. Thought I might have scared you off. Though
Nah.
you are fond of the unexpected, aren't you?
Well, yes.
Is there anything I can help you with,
Figured I'd-
Mrs. Schiffless?
Sniffless. I thought I'd come get acquainted with the classroom and see if there's anything that may have popped up that I should be prepared for.
Oh, that is very wise of you. Did you come to see me, or were you hoping Lydia in my stead? That's the defensive arts teacher, Lydia Frostvale.
Nah, I came for you.
Ah, very well. What were you hoping? That I had more banter for you?
Well, I was hoping you could kind of show me around the classroom and tell me what I should be prepared for in here.
In here, as I mentioned to you, I will not teach you any dark arts, but I will teach you how to defend yourself against them. If you want, you may look into a mirror and see what you truly have to fear.
Alright, I can do that.
He
Just any
looks
old
almost
mirror here?
excited. You see this weird look in his eye as if it has been a long time since a student brought this thrill to his face. He closes his ledger. Though he wasn't even holding it, the book could have kept going magically, but he wants all of his attention on this. He closes the ledger, sets it down, the magic quill kind of and falls right on top of it. And he steps up. A very simple incantation I will utter. I will hex this mirror so that it shows you what your deepest fear is. This is an assignment I do ask early students to conquer. I won't expect you to be able to conquer it on one greeting, but let's see how you fare. Keep in mind, I won't be able to see your fear. It will be you versus it. But you can call it quits whenever you like. And he pulls a slick, dark oak wand from under this belt that wraps around his large black robes. But a very, very thick, wide belt. Like it is about 6 inches tall. Very wide spanning belt. Could easily fit like a book in there. It appears to be some sort of stretching material. He could fit like a book in there, a dagger, and you didn't even see this wand like on his body at all in any of the descriptions we've got of him. And he just pulls it out ever so slick like and taps it against the mirror 2 times. A cursed fear. And he mutters this hex spell as the ripples on it, as it was this ocean of silver in this calm state, begins to have these tiny drips of black liquid liquefy and mix into these ripples, very quickly spreading out. The silver has these black veins in it, and as he turns to you, his hand ushered out at his side, he prompts you to step closer or fly closer to the mirror and look deeper inside of it.
Well, I flutter on over to the mirror then.
All right, roll a charisma save.
Give me one moment. I got a 3.
So the DC save was 29, and your saving throw was a 3. So you pass it. You fail it by basically an immeasurable amount. When hexed, when bewitched, basically anything, just like charm, anything that exceeds over a 20, as if you basically can't roll it. Anything that's higher than a 20 in the value, once all the stats are added up, basically means whatever the hex is, you can't defend against anymore. So not only do you lose to that save, but if that were like a battle, like say they casted fear on you and you failed by that amount, following that, if they used fear spells on you again, you're always at disadvantage. You cannot defend against that type. Same with charm. But this isn't a battle, so it doesn't matter. It's just notable for mechanics. Anyways, as you float up and flutter, looking deep into these black veins that are spreading out like a sickness across this sea of silver, the silver rapidly envelops into this black hole that seems to leap out and swallow you whole. In this black void that it has left you in, you are not floating, not flying, not falling, but gravity is pulling you in every direction. With no source of where to go, you are lost in infinite darkness. The only thing you can see is even darker than the black of this infinite sea is a dark silhouette. A hunched over figure, giant blades protruding out of its back. It gets closer to you, and closer, and closer, and closer. Gobble, gobble. And then Silith dehexes it, the mirror deactivates, and you're staring back into this sea of silver as the mirror ripples blatantly back, slowing just enough that you can see your reflection. The fear draped across your face. You almost look like you're brought to tears. You're just that terrified and completely unable to do anything. Studies have shown that the brightest of lights are the easiest to consume by the darkness. You'd think it would be the opposite. The guiding lights that guide so many others, lost in a sea of darkness themselves. Do not be disencouraged, Mrs. Schniffelus. These are the very things I will help you learn to defend yourself against. That spark of charm or excitement in his eye has dissipated into a look of extreme concern.
That was something else. I didn't expect to see that.
What did you see,
But
if
as
I
long
may
as you can teach me.
ask?
Well, I don't know if you've ever heard of them or anything, but it looked like a killer turkey. It's these big old bird-looking thingy-majiggies, and they'll try to stomp the shit out of you and peck your ass and like shank your ass. They're scary, man.
I have never heard of such a creature. If it is one of your fears, though, I will keep it duly noted. In ample time to prepare, we will, in no time, have you able to defend against such likes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, thank you, Miss Schniffelus. It has been a pleasure. I hope to see you in class.
The pleasure was all mine. I shall see you there.
And he makes his way back to his desk, promptly sitting down and opening the ledger again. The quill immediately picks up and starts jotting. And yes, that was awesome. Bravo. On to Solaris. What teacher or room or area would you like to have made your way to? Much like how Schnur had a page, a small paper, just like from the ledger you guys originally wrote in, is prompted, gives you your 4 main classes as well, and then also your elective at the very bottom. And at this time, you would find out that the Beast Studies area is also in the Verdant courtyard. It is notably on the west side, which is the opposite side that you guys traveled to go to the greenhouse.
Okay, I would like to go see my professor, Haim Verdant. Let's go visit him.
Yes, and you would be able to retrace your steps just like on the day of the green and make your way back to the Verdant courtyard
Cool.
and back through the arches, and this time heading the opposite way. Instead of heading up the hill that you're immediately at the slope of, you continue along this flat that continues out towards the city of the ring, but not quite. You're not that far away from the school, but as you get farther and farther and farther along this flat, just off in the distance, you can see the rigid outline of what looks like stables and some sort of farmhouse, large giant structures on the sky silhouetted with shadows, their peaks very, very high above the farmhouse and the stables, and some sort of giant elongated barn looking structure just off in the distance. And you're able to make your way over there in about a half a day's travel, getting there getting there probably 3 in the afternoon or so. You're able to make your way there, and outside you would see various different animals. I mean, as you're approaching from like the main entryway, you see these long fields, much like the flower meadows, but these ones are mixed in with so many different grains. You see wheat and barley and so many different types of grains just sticking up in these pastures of flowers and grass. And as it gets closer and closer and closer, a lot of these fields start to fade into just these grains and different stalks. Very, very foreign looking, different types of plants that you maybe wouldn't just see about in the forest. And maybe some that you wouldn't, that would look even foreign if you were around the Riverwood area. Some like that we could clearly see was just wheat, but some of this just looks odds and ends different. Some of the large stalks that are coming out have these large green arching canopies of different like oats hanging down underneath of them, in like these bundles that are underneath the leaf. Very foreign looking plants. As you make your way closer and closer to the stables, you would see the outlines of these fences as well. Different areas pasturized off for different roaming. You would see like a two-headed cow, multiple two-headed cows, all kinds of different animals and creatures hanging about. These fluffy colored sprites that are just basically a giant ball of fur that have two antennas coming up out of the top of their head that also have two smaller balls of fur on the antenna, and two giant eyes, and of course a mouth in the middle of the big body-like ball of fur of various different colors, pinks and bright oranges, greens and blues. They're like just hopping through some of these pastures, and these two-headed cows, all kinds of different creatures as you make your way up to the centralized part where the farmhouse you could see is. There's like a barn off to the side, and stables are just behind that barn there, but even farther over to the right as you're walking up. And yeah, out in front you would see a couple different students, second or third year, that are in beast handling, or would be just like taking care of creatures that they have that are hanging out here, or just doing a little extra. You'd see various different students around, and no sign of the instructor though. You'd see various different students kind of working and doing different things. You could go up and try and talk to any of them and see if anyone knows where he's at.
Okay, well, who is the closest to me? Let me go up to him.
Yeah, so right directly up against this fence, there appears to be someone working on the fence. He appears to be a tree ant, just like Bramble. And you walk up to him. Go ahead.
Hey, friend, I'm here looking for Professor Verdant. Have you seen him?
He turns to you with a big smile on his face. Oh, he's probably taking Nipsey out for her morning walk. They should be back any time now. It is late into the afternoon. Uh, Name's Henderson, and he reaches out to you. His hand looks like this burrow of different roots that have sharpened themselves into long points, not jagged, just various different ones that are all out in these this large porcupine-like cornucopia of sharp ends. And he sorry, and he holds out his other hand, which is just like a normal root-looking hand.
Okay, well, I shake his hand, and then I'm gonna ask him, how long have you been studying here for, and what do you do?
Oh, I've been here for a little while. My major is nature magic, and he takes his hand and kind of the one that was jagged like a cornucopia porcupine spikes, and he starts shooting them off like nails into the plank that he's hanging across the fence.
Ooh.
As these nails sputter into the large post hanging this wooden plank across, like fixing the fence. He goes, oh, I'm just helping out. It is that season. We're preparing, you know. And
What are you guys preparing for, sir?
well, many pets come back injured around this time, you know, the trials and all. And he goes on to explain, but is cut off by a large screech. And you hear, ha! As you see a figure off in the distance, what appears to be a large eagle with an elongated body like a horse, the silhouette of it dancing around in the sky, doing these large circles as a humanoid figure is kind of like hanging on by just the reins alone, not even like saddled on. And just like flipping around, doing these large circles before it comes fully into view, and a rather rushed landing. This griffin comes down mere inches from you guys and to the main walkway up towards the farmhouse, sputtering in the dirt trail, kicking up a huge cloud of dust behind it as its wings flap and kick the dust away, making sure none of it lands on it itself. Heim Verdant lands subtly on the back of it, actually in his saddle. Huge smile across his face. He looks like a humanoid with short brown spiky hair, large cloaks of black and green. Then they're just like wavering over the back of him, completely distraught, hanging loosely on him at this point. You can see his vest of Verdant underneath, and the house colors running down this very lacquer vest. Yeah, there he is. There's your professor.
I'm gonna run up to him and be like, hi, Professor Dan, I'm Solaris. All like super excited, goofy. Maybe I trip over a rock also, you know, because I'm me. So.
Ha! Another newbie! He jumps down very quickly. Off, Nipsey, and he smacks the griffin on the rear, and it takes off galloping, not flying, its wings folding up as it heads off towards the stables. He goes, another newbie. Very well. Hello, name's Heim Verdant. I will be your beast handling instructor and professor.
My name's Solaris Ray, and I am definitely here to have you teach me about beast handling. And also, I know that you help Bloodbloom with her plant studies too. That's something that also interests me kind of a lot right now. I have a question for you.
Ah, a new person with questions. Well, colored me puzzled.
Well, okay, so I see that there's lots of different beasts here, all kinds of things that I haven't seen. But something has always been drawing me to a little orange fluffy cat. You know, do you guys have cats around here?
Oh yes, there's many felines around and about. Many creatures of such nature exist around the school quite frequently.
Cool. So perhaps, as I explore more and look at more things, I'd be able to like befriend one of the barn cats.
Oh, absolutely. I am quite intrigued. You do not only have an interest, but a very niche one. Well, that'll go a long way here. Though I haven't seen an orange cat in quite some time. You know, I knew a guy with an orange cat once.
Mm. What was his name? And how long ago was it?
That I can't remember. And he goes to sit down, and as his legs cross, he hasn't even quite hit the ground yet. A stump pops up out of the ground and greets him as a stool. He very, very quietly sits upon it as if it was already coming up as he was sitting down. And he scratches his chin. Orange cats, you say? Well, cats do like the hunt. Have you ever thought of giving it something to chase?
I wasn't to ask you if you guys had problems with rodents around here, because if you didn't, then obviously that means there would be some felines around. What else would a cat chase?
Well, if this cat you say has interest, perhaps it gives chase to you. Has it been following you?
Interesting. So far, it's only been following me in like my memories and like this like urge I have towards them.
That is quite interesting. I don't know much about enchantment magic, but something tells me this cue means it leads to a clue. Well, maybe my earlier hypothesis could be true if only there was some way for you to delve into your memories. Give it chase there.
Do you have any suggestions how to do that?
There was a memory potion. What was that called? Rememberus? Rememberclus? Rememberat? It was something like that. I believe they teach that in potions, or maybe, perhaps if you peruse the stores in Arcanus, perhaps you could find something there. They often have a variety of mini potions and elixirs. Many students travel to Arcanus to restock before heading out for big journeys, and they profit quite definitely off of this. So perhaps something there you would find.
Thank you. Thank you. That would be awesome. I'll definitely have to try that. So I only have one more question, I guess, now for you. Do you happen to have any knowledge about mandrakes and how to use them to enter greenhouse areas without giving away too much information?
Aha! Yes,
Like, are you
yes.
cool? Or like, what a...
You are quite the curious cat, aren't you? Well,
Oh, yes.
that is quite hilarious that you've gotten your adventures going before the year has even begun. It is nice to know mischief is still about, running same old game, cat and mouse. Yes, 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 you can't quite quench curiosity, can you? Though the teachers will try. They will supply you with as much information as they can, but you know the curious mind. Where there is a lure, there is demand. But as for the greenhouse, yes, I do remember being a young rapscallion myself, and I do remember getting in a little earlier than I was allowed access. I was never punished. I believe the door only requires someone who has the inclination to do so. As long as you access it by such means, I don't believe a problem would arise.
Well, thank you very much. I'm real excited to do classes and stuff with you, but now I might have some mischief to get into. Thank you. Hope you do well with your crazy bird over there. He looked quite the rapscallion.
Mrs. Ray, though, if I'm so inclined, you wouldn't happen to have a mandrake on you, would you? You know,
I don't know if I want to reveal that information.
pets need an oasis, a place that they can be about. Your magical bond cannot remain at all times. So if
Huh?
your beast bond is not acquired adequately, who's to say the mandrake doesn't start screaming in the middle of the night? It'd be very
Ooh.
hard for you to keep a steady head on your shoulders if this were to interrupt your studies. Might I suggest maybe leaving him here in the pasture? He'll always be here for you to return to. Your secret's safe with me. And he winks. I was once a young rapscallion, after all. And with that, he takes off. There's a nice empty pasture to the what appears to be an empty pasture to the left that is again with these fences around it, and all you can see in it is these sprout-like leaves that remind you very much of the mandrake that's kind of like in in your robes or wherever you're currently hiding it.
Okay. So, I guess I'll leave him in the pasture, and the pasture is in the. I have so many notes. The pasture.
You can just put that it's near the stables.
Okay, in the pasture. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I'll leave him in the pasture near the stables, so he doesn't harsh my buzz for now. In case, yes.
Yes. And with that, Haim has set off towards that ranch-style house, and the other students are various at work. And then we would go over to Jimbo.
Well, good sir. I'm really curious about Moonlord because I would like to learn a little bit more about where I came from.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious where to go about that. I hear about Aether folk.
Might I suggest the Amber Coil Library? All the information that you wish to peruse is there somewhere.
I think before I do anything, I'm going to stop at the room and drop some things off.
All right.
If
We
I
can
may.
we can hash out what you dropped off later. In the
Oh, this might be important.
Okay. Yes.
So can we're saying we're in the room, right?
In your space room or in the dormitories?
In the space room.
All right.
Oh, this is terrible.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna stab the mandrake in the
God.
face.
Okay.
Try to kill it and stuff in our fucking safe.
So this is called the disassemble action mechanically. So you are going to disassemble this creature into its core components, essentially.
Okay. Yeah, we can butcher it too. I was just gonna stick it in their hole for now, but if
Wait.
you insist.
You want to just take it out? Just
He just wants to murder him and stuff his
Like,
dead
no,
body
it
somewhere.
out.
We're in the room, yeah. So now
well,
that
you
we're
can
behind
harvest.
closed
You
doors,
can
I'm just
harvest
gonna,
the
like,
leaves
stomp
and the
it
root and
in
not
or,
kill it.
Something.
That's
Oh,
what he was trying to do.
yeah, I think I'm gonna murder it anyway. Or try.
Okay. Yeah, you don't really have to roll for that. It's not gonna defend itself.
This is why Morph stays away from you.
And it hasn't. I mean, it
was
might
having
have
more
recovered.
the
Go
other
ahead
day.
and roll a d6.
I can't be that evil. I was giving you kisses on the forehead while you were sleeping.
Exactly.
Yep,
Tom,
that's
consensual
enough damage.
kisses.
That's enough damage to kill it. Yep, it's dead. Kind of, and it doesn't even get a chance to shriek. Just a small little gasp as it passes into the afterlife.
Murderer.
Well, I guess if it's still my turn, I would like to learn more about heritages, I guess.
Okay. You wish to go to the library?
I think the library would be a pretty goddamn good place to start. Yeah, let's go see what Quill writes up to.
Coolright is not in the library.
Oh. Wait.
But the library has so much information. You could definitely find everything you want there. The large, grand staircase that climbs up the center of the room. To each side of it, there are these large hallways that the other stairs kind of also dress over. But just along those hallways, behind the stairs, there is a rather large door. It is some sort of red wood with darkened stains of brown, dressed up with golden handles and golden trim. It is a very bright, vibrant, warm-looking door to the rest of the color palette of the castle so far. And these two big square doors with golden handles open as you walk up. Both of them opening into a large library. As you walk up into the library, the large middle portion is this giant glowing eternal flame of bright red and orange, burning so hot that you see flickers of blue and white as it wraps and spirals. It is massive. The peak of its flames reaching 25 feet into the air. These large circular spirals of bookshelves running up 3, 4, 5 stories. As you look up higher and higher, the roof seems to extend further and further, 6 stories, 7 stories, 8 stories up, bookshelf on bookshelf, each of these roughly being about 10 feet tall, lined about 15 feet long before connecting to the next one at about a 35-degree angle, each of them going until it makes the majority of a circle around this giant flame in the middle, probably about 20 feet from the outside circumference of the flame. A large circular room, and not only is there that spiral of bookshelves there, but outside along each of the walls there are even more bookshelves running up, again 6, 7, 8 stories into the air, all about 10 feet tall, and long bookshelves running in the midst of these in different rows as you go from the door to the back of the room. Probably what appears to be around 100 or so rows split off into 2 different sections. So probably about 200 shelves in total of these rows that are also around 10 feet tall. So many books. And as you get to that circle pinnacle where the flame is and where this circular bookshelf is wrapping around it for the majority, to the left, there is a large desk with a even taller non-separated bookshelf, basically running the entire length, one just that is stacked book on book on book on book, as if so many books have been crammed into this spot that even the shelves have been removed just to get that little bit of space to put books on their side to set in there, even more books. A very, 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 very tall, singular, compact area of these books, and scrolls shoved into the various different corners and areas where there would be almost like a cobblestone road. And behind this desk, in front of this very large plateau of books, is a shadow veil with long white hair. We've seen her at the feast, and it's like all honeycombed up, literal needles with scrolls on the end of them wrapped in these ribbons bound through her hair, holding it up in different areas. Like layer on layer on layer, giant beehive type hairdo. And she is sitting there with multiple of these ledgers and floating quills, transcribing all of her different thoughts across multiple different books at the same time as you walk up, Jimbo.
Well, miss, do you use the Dewey Decimal System?
She looks
You've
down
gotta be in charge
over
here,
the
right?
side at you. Oh, a moonfolk. How is your day going? I am Madam Inkvale. I am the head librarian here.
Well, I'd say it's a pretty fantastic day.
We do not have a Dewey Decimal System. This is all organized by year. Many various different generations after generations have chronicled their journeys and their know-how here through the different years and generations. Rather unorganized, I know, but we have the best assistant known to all of wizard kind. Simply
May I
ask...
be introduced?
Huh?
To the assistant.
Oh, yes. Simply ask for a book and he will appear and try his best to help you.
So where is our assistant?
And her eyes glance up towards the climbing ceiling of books, far off into the sky. As I said, it keeps going. You keep seeing it get higher and higher. 10 stories, 11 stories, 12 stories. The more you focus, the higher you see this room climb.
So the knowledge is infinite, huh?
It could be bewitched,
Well-
much like the verdant courtyard is to literally, yes, expand for we have no idea how far.
Well, I'd like to ask the the person up there if I could be pointed in the right direction to find the assistant.
Yeah, she said just
Or-
you
oh,
call
no,
for
I'm
a
goofy.
book and he'll come and help you find it, basically.
I would like to request a book on the detect magic spell.
Okay. So you call that out loud. You're like, I would like a request detect magic. And you see very slowly at first, but then in rapid succession of pace, this pillar of white, almost smoke begins to spiral down from somewhere far off into the distant ceiling. Slowly at first, but then faster and faster and faster before it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And before it hits the ground, it plummets like a cloud of mist rolling out along the ground and summiting up the once trail long line like a comet trail behind, eventually vaporizes. And as it does, the staggering silhouette of this almost ethereal looking figure comes into view in mid of the misty smoke, and this figure made entirely out of clouds is now standing in front of you. His body morphs and his facial expressions change until you see this very elf-like figure appear in front of you. Thaddeus Elvamore. He reaches a hand out to you, extending in a salute. One hand tucked behind his back as he kind of wrinkles his almost half cape-like waistband down around behind him.
So, good sir, could you point me in the direction of spells that pertain to the nature of magic, and how to tell the difference? Where is it discernible?
Well, I'd hope so. I wrote the book, after all. And he begins walking. Care for a stroll? And Thaddeus continues on, walking down this long side section in between those various different columns of rows and the actual wall itself that's also lined with books. He begins walking briskly down away from the librarian.
Why do
Care-
you seem so hasty?
Well, it is my job, after all. And he continues forward. He looks around. The age of these books is definitely getting older and older and older and older before he abruptly stops and goes, no, 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 I think this was before my time. Takes a few steps back, and his eyes lock on this large column of books that are, it's pretty old, pretty dusty looking. And he kind of finger taps through them as he's looking, and he grabs one with a faded purple and a deep brown leather binding wrapped around, and pulls this book out, kind of blows on it, the dust and mist from his breath mixing together into a very translucent, pretty cloud of almost glittering glimmer as he hands the book to you through this cloud.
So, do I just check this out? May it be in my possession briefly?
I believe you'll have to talk to the librarian, but that is the book I written on my studies of detection of magic. I believe it has held up.
May I ask you for any advice?
Stay curious, my friend. And as
I like your funny words, Magic
as
Man.
Thaddeus smiles at you, the textures and details of his face fade, and you just see this humanoid cloud kind of standing there. His hand waves a very, very slight goodbye as the cloud itself begins to drift back into the ceiling.
Well, I guess let's go downstairs. Let's go down a lot of stairs.
You mean
Talk
back to
this
the librarian?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, back down the
actually-
hallway. There weren't no stairs.
Oh, we never went upstairs. My bad.
You have to find your own way up. There are no stairs. But yeah,
Climb up the bookshelves?
you can at some later point. But you have to find some way up. Any way is acceptable as long as it doesn't destroy anything. Yeah, there are no stairs or any ladders or anything like that that would show some way to get up to this 12-story bookcase. It's very, very weird detail that you caught on to there. But yeah,
I can think of something I could throw to find me, though.
you would be able to walk back down the hallway you came, though, and not hallway, but this section of books. You'd be able to walk back down it and talk to the librarian, Madam Inkvale, if you would like to try and check this book out.
Madam Inkvale. If I may, I would like to take this book with me. As long as I return it, that shouldn't be a problem, right?
Yes, you may have up to 2 books out at any time. I will write down your information real quick, Mr. Clover.
Clover.
That's right. As you go to say this, a different book has slid into your view. You see the book you chronicled all your information into. It hovers briefly in front of her gaze, giving her the information that she was seeking as she's like putting together who you are. You see that very same book that you chronicled your information in at the beginning kind of float past her gaze before closing and putting itself up in somewhere in the bookshelf behind her.
Oh, it looks so beautiful too.
And she continues to write down your information in a different long scroll-like paper, magically with this quill floating, of course. She goes, yes, you may check that out. There is no return date, but you may only have 2 out at any time. And I believe you will like that one, Mr. Clover. Thaddeus was very smart, very ahead of his time, and many of his works still hold up to this day. I'm glad that our friend Cloud could help you find that.
Just giggles. just giggles, just all giddy. We're gonna read some things. We're excited. Also, I would like to try and follow that other book.
The book that she put up, you can't. That's behind her. That's in her personal collection, essentially.
Could I try and sweet talk her?
Yeah, you could. I mean, it's literally exactly what you know it to be. It is just the very information you have already written down. That's all it is.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Too much work.
No, you're okay. I was just saying it's literally just her showing that she has your information somewhere in the file. It's somewhere in there. But yeah, I mean, you could look at it. You can't check it out, but if you could somehow sweet talk her into looking at it, and it would show you that it is, just your information you've already chronicled. And then she would put it back up there. And yeah, that would. Did you enjoy meeting our friend Cloud? Now you understand why I couldn't introduce him myself. He appears as whoever you need to instruct you to whatever knowledge you seek. That is the beauty of our assistant, Mr. Cloud. He is a very great friend to have indeed.
It's very mysterious. That's fun.
And with that, I suggest you be on your way. Much to read, young lad, she says as she smiles and leans back into her tall perched chair.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this right in my drawer next to the cheese.
All right. And that takes us to Savage, Vero. And Vero, we're actually going to do something a little bit special for, potentially in a different episode. We're going to figure out exactly what was going on with Vero during this little bit of a time skip. But if there's anything in specific you would like to have done, Vero, you may.
I would like to go and speak with the headmistress.
The dormitory mother or the head magistrate?
Head magistrate.
All right, Selena Aethercrest is, you probably wouldn't have gained information as to where his office is, but by being in the time that you had in the hospital and it being a couple days, you could have definitely asked Tallius, and Father Tallius could have provided you with where the information for where the head magistrate's office would be. Essentially, there is a staff tower that is lined. It is a very long staircase that goes around with these very small, meek looking wooden doors, just about 6 feet tall, nothing too special about them, all braided with this like simple iron across the top and bottom, and these long rectangle slats with like studded beads. And yeah, at the very, very top of this spiral, there is one of them in particular that is a set of double doors, and just beyond that is the head magistrate, Selena Aethercrest's office. So as you get up to these large doors, these ones don't open automatically. You have to have intention. And you'd have to like push them open and have the thought like, I need to get in here. And as you do, the doors open and it looks enormous inside. Like, it doesn't even look like you're standing in a tower. It looks like you're standing in a fucking cathedral. Like the original Resistance of Fate that you guys entered, a very similar setup. All these giant runes across the ground, large walls with these beautiful murals painted on them. You see saints and enamored figures in glowing light, heroes of tales before, lined along these giant mural-like windows. Large statues of previous head magistrates adorn all of the length of the walls on both sides. Probably around 30 statues in total. You see many species you've never even thought were like actually real. There, most notably, there was a head magistrate that was a troll, a creature you've heard about but probably haven't seen. They are pretty rare. There is another one that might catch your eye, though not as rare, so to speak. Maybe rarer. I don't know. It's hard to say, depending on where you're at from in the world. But there is what appears to be a dragonborn, some humanoid, draconic-looking figure, and just tons of these beautiful-looking statues carved of the previous head magistrates. And at the very end, there is, of course, a giant desk, and behind it, in these beautiful golden and silver cloaks with white fur around the top and this giant bundle around his neck, is the High Elf Soliner Aethercrest. And
as Vero's looking around, he takes a look at the Dragonborn and instinctively like acknowledges that, you know, even people like that deserve respect.
He wasn't born that way, you know, Soliner says, noticing your ambiguity towards the statue. Magic has a harsh reality, but he was a hero nonetheless.
Well, I can tell he was very powerful and strong, so anyone like that has my respect. On the note of respect, I'd like to know how you found me and gave me this letter. And I pull out the letter that either is just a plain piece of paper now, because the ink is no longer there.
Many are curious as to how we scout our applicants. You would understand why I couldn't just reveal that. It would put potential future applicants in danger to have that information just floating around out there. But no, from the moment you were born, you were always meant to be here, and we are happy to have you.
And then I accepted. I was like, acknowledge it. Like, okay. Is there any particular reason why I was here, or is it just because of my magical potential?
Your family is one of the 4 core royalty families of the realm. As such, we have had open practice ever since the Dark Ages that the royalty be put first in the applicant list. However, things have changed as of late. With everything that has happened, the last years included, we believe all applicants must be truly tried and true tested. No exceptions will be made. However, you do have a special place here. That key will allow you to get to it. How you find it, though, well, that is up to you. Believe it or not,
And then
many of the halls and rooms of this place are still even a mystery to me.
then I just look at the key, and like I just look at it in my hand and put it away. I was like, "What do you know about my father?"
The Lord, I believe they called him. Vorx was a student here just before my time taking over as head magistrate. I believe he was a troubled child, but one with a good heart. He exceeded at many things. There was once a darkness that plagued our land. I'm sure you've heard the stories of the Great War and the cataclysm it caused. The backlash to many of those, much like our Archmage, Mr. Bloodbloom. Their families were in very much danger. Your father, he attempted to banish that danger.
Well, you must have been a really great person back then.
I have heard. But,
Is there? Mhm.
Vero, mind if I call you by informalities?
You're the head magistrate.
You can call me Solinar.
Very well.
I do believe you to be Vero, not Vox. I am very curious as to what your destiny will hold here at Mistvale, or your fate, shall you be so inclined to take hold. A promising future indeed.
I look at the head magistrate. Thank you for your time, Solero. And I start to walk out.
And he gives
Like-
a low-headed bow, and the doors of Fix open, and
Before I walk out, I'll figure out what this key does, and I might let you in that secret.
it would scratch an old itch for me. Thank you, Vero.
I'll just walk out.
And the doors close behind you, and with the doors a little bit better, north corridor heading basically down towards your dorms, and the east corridor heading basically to everything else you've gone to thus far. In the middle of the two is the central plaza area where the Grandioso staircases are, and directly to the opposite end of them, the main feast hall, where you guys have dinner almost every day in and out. You guys have never had such luxury in your lives. Any food, any drink, the amount of time prepared into this is astronomically unfathomable. These feasts that you guys have is not some magic conjured up, but actual food actually prepared, and there is just so many people working to provide so much food that the variety is basically infinitely vague. You couldn't even fathom the amount of different dishes that you could try here, as you would just continue to eat and eat and eat and drink your fill. I mean, these 10 days of wandering around and discovering things and eating and sleeping are the best treatment some of you have had in your journeys thus far. This fast-paced movement would come to a natural slow. You would see these staircases ritualistically spiral and move, almost like a clock, moving exactly where they need to be for each class to gain passage. And as this would naturally slow, the pace in the air would too. You would get this almost instinctual feel in your chest, in your stomach, maybe in the back of your mind, that tells you the biggest of ceremonies is very soon to begin. And you would, as you're doing your daily duties, be seeing people of all kinds gathering more generally towards the east hall and leaving out into the main courtyard, not towards the Verdant courtyard where you guys have been going for these various different things, but towards the main courtyard where all these giant fountains and stone structures and works and sculptures of art are present through giant hedges and trimmed pieces of very well maintained scenery grass and foliage just seems so beautifully painted. It's almost picturesque. And as this signal hits, it's not like a ringing of a bell or a chime that a lesson has begun, but this slow feeling that builds and builds and builds, that draws you near towards this courtyard. All of you guys would naturally meet up here, maybe not even discussing it, just stumbling into each other as this feel pulls all of you. Make a group wisdom check as you guys stumble into each other.
All right. Ooh, my wisdom's good. Okay. +4. So mine's a 19 because their wisdom is +4.
Okay. So 16 plus 19 is 25. Vera, what did you roll?
Vero got a 5.
So 30. Perfect. Yeah, you guys all kind of get this nostalgic feeling. This call in your chest reminds you of the call of the forest. As the adventure had very first set upon you, you now feel a new one is just about to embark. Like you can feel you are on the cusp of everything changing and an entirely different story about to begin. And it feels exactly like the draw of the forest when the forest drew you in. And then you guys all meet up together with this feeling in heart. You can role play it out.
What are you
Well,
guys doing here?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We just all showed up, same place, same time.
Right. I just felt drawn here. I mean, maybe we just kind of ran into each other, each going different ways.
Man, I was just floating in.
So what all y'all find out?
Well, I went to go see my teacher, Professor Jaime Verdant, over by like the magical beast like stables. Dude, man, there are all kinds of different animals around here. Fluffy little bouncy antenna guys, a whole griffin, freaking 2-headed cows. I mean, it's pretty interesting. Not to mention, y'all like this too, because I know you like plants. There was all kinds of fields of barleys, wheats, and even all kinds of stuff that like vined together. And there was like little wheats and barleys hanging from them.
And that
Pretty
was
much,
straight on through that arch that we went through to Mr. Leach,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Oh,
kind
all
of
right,
like that.
cool beans.
Yeah. And then there, like, there was this little tree guy, who was like, I do plant stuff, and he was like shooting little nails out of his fingers to like put up pastures for the animals. And then I talked to my professor, and I asked him a couple questions about my orange cat. Y'all know I'm very interested in. He said he remembers somebody having an orange cat, but not who it was, and it was a long time ago. And so there aren't like really any around he's seen lately, and kind of how to like I have to. Oh, y'all, we gotta stop at the potion store if y'all are interested, because he said there's a potion to help me remember stuff. And then pretty much he told me, oh, and I asked him about I secretly asked him about our mandrakes, and I left my guy in this field, so he's just chilling, happy, and if we ever need him, we can just go snatch his ass up. So that's what I found out, y'all.
Yeah. I did something like the same with mine.
Yeah, I heard a rumor somebody like chopped the mandrake or killed him.
Right, like chopped him into bits and put him in the wall.
Yeah, behind closed doors, man.
Boy.
Interesting.
Hearsay.
Mine's
Hearsay.
alive.
How you hearing this shit? You see
Well, there was
the
someone
wall?
next to you in the room that was like,
Talking to
"Hey,
the
there's some guy
gargoyle?"
killing some mandrake over there." I was like, "Nick, why would they kill a mandrake?"
Man, I
But
like
Yeah, everybody knows
Jimbo,
you
where's
can
your,
harvest
Nobody
their
ever
roots
talked
and
about
leaves without killing them. What the fuck?
yeah, Jimbo, where's your mandrake? What'd you do?
How'd you know we had one? We haven't been here.
I
Yeah,
heard everyone.
bro.
I caught up with. I asked teachers.
Caught
I
up.
asked everybody. I
He
caught up.
caught up.
I even went to talk to the head magistrate. Had a little nice conversation.
Yeah, we only talked about the mandrakes a little bit, man.
Okay, where's your mandrake?
And you see a large crowd of people
No,
is
that's what I
assembled
was just
around
saying.
you.
I did the same thing with mine.
Many
Oh, okay.
prying eyes and listening ears to your conversation as they're all just kind of like all their steps come to a slow stop and everyone is filled in basically right where you guys are around this entropy, or maybe just on the other side of the threshold into the main giant structure of this courtyard. There's like 40 to 50 people like now completely encircled around you, and like 100 directly in front of you. This subtle line has slowly just become an entire wall as people are just feeling the need to stop right here where you guys have kind of stopped at. And you guys all kind of feel these murmurs around you as the courtyard fills without really being commanded to do so, and that same feeling that fills it without the need to command also ushers in this slow silence that vibrates out across the crowd as everyone is filled with this sense of wonder as to what's to come next. The main fountain, the biggest fountain, maybe 30 meters in total circumference diameter, in the middle, probably also 10 feet tall, shooting giant arches of water up into the sky, slowly begins to actually recede and shrink and then disappear entirely into the ground as this beautiful stone brick layout begins to unfold in the middle of where the fountain just disappeared. These big, long gray bricks tactile out, falling like logs rolling down each other over a hill before this entire mound wave has sputtered out and created a giant square courtyard in the middle of this courtyard. The bricks, though, continue to wave, and these giant waves becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, as if these bricks are somehow multiplying in the bundles of waves that they're riding in. And these big waves eventually come up to 20, 30 feet tall before completely solidifying, and you see giant bleachers have now been assembled, staircase after staircase, almost like the Roman Colosseum, completely surrounding around this rectangular square courtyard that has now been made in the very middle of the courtyard. All of the bricks that slowly stutter down eventually make their way into small staircases that lead the way up into these stands. And you see everyone that has stopped begins to step again and go up and start filling into these stands. And in the very middle of the courtyard, you now see two people, not two people you would expect to see, but they're there nonetheless. Varian Thornshade and Solina Aethercrest, the head teacher of Shadows and Umbral Studies, and of course the head magistrate himself. Both kind of standing in the middle, the magistrate's large golden scepter floating behind him, eventually coming into orbit just in front of him. As he begins to speak into it, his voice booms out across the crowd as if amplified by a microphone. A yearly rite has begun. Many of you are new, but many of you have been through this a time or two. And we know that as the year begins to conclude, we come here not to celebrate, but to hope, to praise those that push a step further. Though their disciplines have been done, though their classes passed, and whatever task they seek through the year complete, they have one trial ahead of them. One trial left to prove they have completed an entire year of magical discipline, and to begin the next, for those that survive, that is. Selena Aethercrest goes on. Just for a moment, you see Varian standing behind him, very stern. It almost looks like he's staring right at you guys. But then he disappears, and it is just the head magistrate continuing on this monologue. The section that is the farthest from you guys, where there is no bleachers, as you guys walk up to a bleacher on the left and the right, on the farthest side, there's a set of what appears to be much smaller assembled bleachers, and you see Varian Thornshade appear there. Along with him, many of the other teachers that you have seen up until this point, and a few that maybe you haven't. A stump-headed appearing guy with large burlap brown cloak, a small dwarven man with gray hair wrinkling around a centermost missing bald spot, and big, large monocle-like glasses sitting atop his forehead. And you guys would fill into the stands at some point. Would you guys like to go to the left stands or the right stands?
Who's in the left and who's in the right?
That is a good question.
Left.
You could look around.
I want to look around.
All right, roll a insight check.
Okay, am I inside? Is wisdom? Ooh, my insight is wisdom, which is +4. Sweet. Boom. What'd that be? My screen's small.
Bam!
Bam.
8.
8. Not much.
It's better than a 4 though. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You saw that dice spin, like.
On the right side, you see everybody that's been accompanying you up until this point. Many of the same names that were with you on your trek to the castle on the voyage in the boat.
Feels like the
And
newbies. Okay.
On the left side, you see the opposite dormitory cast and crew. And most notably, also Draylin, Draven, and Asaro.
What do y'all think? You want to sit with a little more cultured, a little more been there longer people to ask
I
them
don't know
a
why I
question?
called him Draven. Riven Blackmold.
Yeah.
Draylin and Asaro.
Y'all
Daryl
think
would
you
like
want
to
to
sit
go
next
sit
to
with?
Draylin.
You do?
But yeah, we're
I
going
do.
left.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Yeah.
I can
All right.
only assume she's on my shoulder.
All right.
I literally look at the person sitting next to Draylin on his right and just usher him to move to the
Right,
side. I want to sit
move.
right on his right side.
Yeah, and why would we not want to sit by Asaro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all of us should sit by Asaro.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, they
Hell
are
yeah.
on. I mean, okay, yeah. So Asaro would be like in the middle, but presume or on the left side, whatever. And then if Draylin's on the right side, you guys would have to like split, kind of. So you guys could sit either on the side that Draylin's on or on the side that Asaro's on.
I would
Daryl
like
goes
to.
to Draylin.
May I sit in between them?
Oh, that's what Riven would be sitting there, would he not? Riven's sitting somewhere.
Oh
with
yeah,
them.
good point.
I just want to be close enough to be able to have a
Throw Riven down the
conversation.
bleachers.
This is so awesome because this is
Throw
so.
you down the
This
bleachers.
is like
That's
so
what we do.
symbolic right
Oh,
now, and we
bro.
don't even know it yet. Yeah, Riven is in the
All I-
way somewhere. So you guys could
all I
either
know
sit
is
next to
Varus
Asaro
and-
or you could sit next to Draylin.
He wants to sit next to Draylin. I
Okay.
think me and Schnur and Jimbo want to sit next to Asaro. But
All right.
we're all kind of close enough a little bit to have a conversation, kind of, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
While
you
you
know,
guys
we're
are,
like, hey.
while the rest of the group is huddled up, I'm already
Yeah, we
making my
only
way to
picked one
Draylin.
spot.
Go.
Oh, what did you say? Sorry.
So yeah, you guys are able to make your way in there.
That's the girl we skipped with, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to grab this really quick and pull it up. This is the courtyard you guys are in. Although the middlemost fountain is now gone, and of course there is a giant square tactile looking platform that has been placed there, and with these Coliseum like bleachers around it. And let me just send that to the back real quick so we can still see you guys. Let's get Vero in the picture here. I want to hang out with everyone over here, Vero.
Yeah.
And Morph.
Morph.
Yeah, we can't forget Morph.
We still gotta find his glass shard things, and now we have our our thing, the constructs. We might be able to help, put them together. But then I'm sad that maybe if we put them together, he might leave.
That is true. He might leave.
Oh, I don't like that. So I guess he's gonna stay crippled so we can take control of him. You can't leave. You don't have any legs.
I regret saying everything. I regret everything. Usually it's I regret nothing. I regret everything. Yeah, you guys are able to fill into these seats, push these bad thoughts to the back of your head, and settle in with this company. And in front of you, the magistrate continues going on in the middle of this, and to the side of you is Draylin, and to the side of the rest of you is Asara.
Are we talking are we? Yeah. Hey, right. Yeah. What's up, Asaro?
Oh, it's my friends. Riven's
Hi.
like, friends? What are you talking about? Yeah, they were totally cool. I hung out with them in the whole day of the green. Riven's like, you're hanging out with people. Since when do you like people? She's like, well, these people are kind of cool. And you guys pull up. Next to Draylin, there is someone already kind of sitting there.
I give him a death glare, like, move.
Well, hold on. It's not only one person. There's a couple. It appears rumors of you guys have spread through the school. Vero and Draylin, the two that fought all the spiders by themselves, and lucky for Vero, Draylin was there with his super cool healing magic because he totally saved the day and got both you guys out of there in one piece. And stories have begun to spread about you guys, and it appears Draylin's got like a little fan group going. There's a short little quick wit boy, Pip Underleaf. You guys remember him, of course. He is kind of like fanboy number one to the closest side of Draylin. He is actually like sketching a cartoon characteristic like picture of Draylin, and he's got like his arm out in the like super strong pose, and he's like casting healing magic, and you see like a very bad doodle of Vero off in the corner like getting healed, and he's like, yay, yippee.
That's adorable.
Okay. Can I shadow step behind him? Like, that's not what happened, but nice drawing.
He got a hope. He pops his head up, and Draylin's like, he like face palms, and he's like, I don't even know how these stories are getting out. And Asaro starts blushing, and yeah, Pip like dashes to the side and gets out of the way. And yeah, you can definitely take that seat and just like shove everyone to the side. Absolutely. And there you are. What would you like to say? You're there.
I would look at Draylin and be like, well, did you work on your aim while I was out?
Yeah, it seems you took a little longer than most to recover from that fatigue. I've got a little practice in. Not much, though. We do have a year coming up. We'll see whose aim's better at the end, huh, friend?
Of course, brother. I do have a head start, though.
Yes,
You want me to
glad
slow
to see
down
you
so you can catch
recovered.
up?
You have any idea what we're doing gathered here? Silith was very hush-hush. I was hoping maybe Heimdall let something leak.
Not really. I had just finished talking to the head magistrate a few minutes ago, but didn't speak of anything happening in the courtyard.
Well, I assume it has something to do with the end-of-the-year trials the magistrate was talking about, but I wonder what we could be doing here. I feel like something as grand as the trials would take place somewhere else, huh? Not in this meager courtyard.
Well, very true. Well, all we have to do is just wait to find out.
And then it cuts back over to you guys in a sorrow. What'd you guys like?
Sorrow. Do y'all know what we're doing here? I mean, like, everybody's gathered. Do you know what's up?
I'm not really sure, honestly. By the tactile look of that structure down there, though, it appears to be some sort of combat arena.
Ooh, maybe we're gonna like try our spells and see how we can do. Like maybe a practice before our big end of the year, or perhaps this is the end of the year because they just wanted us to get ready like quick as possible. I mean, we don't have much time. Everything's been very hush hush around here.
Yeah, that would be so fun. Yeah, it would be fun if we got a chance to fight these guys. Put the case to rest, Riven says.
Riven, what the fuck?
Okay, sassy pants.
He's on some
Right.
bullshit, bro. I told you he was
Holy,
looking at
dude.
you funny. He's on some.
We came
he's
to
on
sit
some
next
bullshit.
to you. Jeez.
I shoot him
He's
dirty
like,
look.
yeah, it would be fun.
Better
to
the
like, fight
devil
each
you
other.
know than the devil you don't know, huh?
Indeed.
Ooh, this is about to get interesting, huh?
Yeah, and he kind of glances down at the battlefield as the magistrate's voice gets louder and louder. You see this yearly rite, a graduation test for the upper years, a passage that will decide who moves forward and who does not. The representation of full discipline, commitment, and intention. You begin to see these giant blue sigils glowing all across the courtyard, behind the stands, in front of the stands, circling basically everywhere around this tactile square built in the middle. These runes glow with bright arcane blue lights, before the lights all pinpoint like lasers shooting towards the middlemost central tactile square. And in this square, a giant blue cube of light begins to form. It's about 20 meters by 20 meters by 20 meters. And this giant blue cube begins to spin in orbit before pieces of it begin to chisel away. And a upside down pyramid is left in view. A very, very detailed pyramid. You can see like specks of dirt and roots in this pyramid as it zooms in and zooms in and zooms in. Our yearly graduates have already passed their written exams. They have passed the first floor of the trial. They have passed the second floor of the trial. And all that remains is one last leap, one last step, and they will be there. But let's see who has the will to cross the line. Who will distinguish themselves amongst their peers? Who will lead our future generations? Who will be our next teachers, our next wardens, our next keepers of knowledge to pass on to the next after them? We will find out who has that will today. The crowd quiets. Well, I have a feeling we're about to find out, Draylin says.
Well, here's good to see if we get to see a good show.
Mm-hmm.
The hologram continues to zoom in and zoom in and zoom in. it's an upside down pyramid, the largest floor being the top, and then it goes down, and then it goes down, and then it goes down. And as it does, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, forcing more applicants closer and closer and closer until you get to the final floor where it zooms in. And at first, it appears like a very blank room, a large, long, gray room full of brick and stone, non-decorated, much like the halls of Mistvale, but with no lanterns to guide light. This long, vast hallway on one side assembles every applicant that has made it down this far. At the other end is a simple arching door, a black space that represents the exit. And about 3/4 of the way there's a line drawn across the ground. It is simple. Now that you have made it this far, all you must do is take one more step across that line. And as he says this, the stone that is the floor begins to melt away. It begins to glow a bright orange hue as pieces of the rock begin to melt away, forming these stone-like circles separated by congruing magma in between. It bubbles and pops with blistering heat and glows brilliant orange light across the room. You may work together. You may work for yourself. All that is important is you take this last step. If you do not wish to step any further, turn around now, the magistrate says. To proceed is optional. To stop is allowed, and to turn back is a means of survival. Another wave of silence rushes across the crowd. Into view, far down in this chamber as it continues to zoom and zoom and zoom, we are introduced to Elira Fenwick, a 4th year. Warden Protection is her major. Her hands shake. Her spells are mainly centered around sigils that cast shields. You can see them in her blue and purple robes imbued across. She appears human. We can also see Brannick Colvane, a 5th year stonekin, very close to the shoulder of Elira, hovering over her. His body is made of stone, much like the stone that they walk across, and you can already see this visible heat radiating off of it. This heat turns into steam on his skin as he grins in defiance. We can see Seren Vale, a 3rd year divination major, clearly too young to be here, but whispers about him have rippled across the school. And he stands there steady, fixed, eyes locked on the line directly ahead of him, notably alone amongst his peers. The rest of them are kind of like grouped up a little bit. He appears to be just standing there kind of by himself. We also see Cale Thornmere. On contrast to being too young to be here, Cale is probably a little past the time you would think to be taking this trial. He has technically attended enough years that he should graduate, but he has never taken the trial before, or he hasn't passed. So we don't know which is true. All that we know is he is a very aged veteran. He's been here about 7 years and is still on the first trial attempt here. He is an elfling, silent skin, very pale skin. Very silent, pale skin. He is notably already busted up, bruised up, bleeding, scrapes across his cheek, big heavy breaths. He's hunched over trying to grab some breath back into his lungs. And there isn't a moment to do so. The trial is full-blown commenced. Other people begin darting across the room trying to jump from stone to stone. They leap and bound as they jump across this fiery crackle of of stone and lava. We're gonna just always do good guys first, dungeons second. So we'll roll a mass for the majority. Just to get an idea of how much danger is currently present.
A D20 for what?
No. It's
Oh.
well, that could be fun to have you guys roll for. That could be kind of fun. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that from here on.
Whoops.
Good thing we didn't do it for this one. Thankfully, so there's like multiple people who just dash across the room trying to get across these stones, leaping and bounding. One of them jumps on the stone, and the stone immediately just flips over and dunks him in the lava. And you can't even hear him scream. They just and they're completely submerged as the the rock completely just flipped over and right back on top of them, almost pushed them down quicker than the lava or magma could even consume them. Quicker than they could definitely ever even shout. The rest are like notably shaken by this and stop mid-leap, like on these rocks already out across the magma. Some of them look to think about turning back for a second, and a large wave of lava leaps up, attempting to lash down at them. Go ahead and roll, Ray.
Gosh, are we playing Squid Games here? Okay. Boom. What? Jiminy Christmas, I'm gonna die.
So this small elfling, the small quick-wit guy, he's like leaping and binding, and then he sees the guy in front of him jump on a stone, and the stone flip over and smash him into the magma. And he hesitates, he stops. Using his quick reaction, he looks behind him and thinks about jumping that way. However, this wave of lava has broken up above the surface of the rest and attempts to smack down on him. And just when it looks like he is dead, like it is absolutely over for him, Lyra, the chick with all the blue sigils across her robe, jumps onto the same stone, one of her sigils activating this blue energetic shield bursting across the stone, protecting her and the Quickwit as the lava wave smashes into it, fading off just as the magic spell dissipates, shattering into these fragments of light. She quickly pulls him to her feet and then keeps leaping herself, the Quickwit almost stunned, but then quickly following behind her. The large bastion of stone that was right behind her, Brannick, is a couple rocks behind her, but he's not actually leaping across the rocks. He's just walking across the lava. It is heating him up and doing quite a bit of damage, but he is just apparently tanking it and just walking through it. Go ahead and roll Jimbo.
Roll D20, right?
Yep.
No modifier. Okay. Yep. Gotcha.
You see Seren Vale, the guy that was like too young and already kind of like beat up and scuffed up. He jumps across one of these stones, and you see for a moment the big stone monolith Brannick that is walking with him is making a wake in the magma as he's walking. He's not only big and tanky, he's heavy, and each step plunders down. The strength ripples out, moving the magma, making the stones kind of jostle in his wake. And he steps right by Seren Vale, and as he does, the stone flips over, much like it did to the other guy, and dunks him into the lava. However, what we're seeing is actually like a projection of Seren as he's using his divination magic to basically see how he's gonna die next. And he decides to jump to a different stone instead. And we watch that same stone topple over, but he's not there. Instead, he's on a stone to its side. And go ahead and roll Schnur.
$18.
So yeah, we see Kale Thornmere, the guy that was at the very endmost of the lineup, he's just stepping out across this very easily. One of the stones tries to flip over and dunk him underneath. However, the shadows from above that this magma is casting across the room reach down and grab him by his shoulder, lifting him up as the stone flips over and setting him right back down on top of it as he just continues his leisure stroll. And they continue on about racing towards the end of this line. You see as they're like just continuing to trudge forward, everyone pushing at their pace, a hand erupts from the lava, a giant magma hand. Vero, you're the only one that would have seen something like this. It appears like that mage hand spell you've seen in the bar, just encapsulated in lava. And as it jumps up, it grabs a hold of Brannick. And he is like struggling against it down to a knee. You see stones across his shoulder and back cracking under the weight and heat and pressure of this giant lava hand. He roars, and for a moment it seems like he's in immense amount of pain, but as he looks back up at the crowd, this giant smile across his stony face as he reaches both hands back, grabbing the magma and ripping it like into shredding pieces in his hand. You can see the burning sears of melting rock dripping off of him as he rips this magma apart. Elira looks back, seeing two more shields summiting out of the lava as well, one on each diagonal side of him, and she casts both of her sigils, dispelling two more of these sigils that she has on her. Two giant dome-like shields appear, but not over Brannick, but instead over the hands themselves, basically encapsulating them and trapping them so they can't reach Brannick. And you see that Saren hesitates for like half of a heartbeat, just standing there for a moment, another hand directly emerging in front of her. And she doesn't attempt to dodge. Instead, this moment of fear, she's just completely struck numb as this molten limb jumps onto the platform she is on, this stone piece, and you can see the burning of her boots just from the heat of it getting so close, her hair burning under the heat. And just as it looks like she is about to collapse to the ground, we see a kind of dark silhouette jumping from the back line where all these applicants originally filtered in from. And the Grand Magistrate cracks a laugh that almost echoes across the mic by accident. You hear students screaming. The magical power of crackling energy fills the air.
Fills the air.
Crackling heat.
Crackling energy.
Yeah.
Boogie, 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 boogie.
Just giving you guys a moment to react if there was any reactions.
We got the
I'm pretty much
motherfucking
just
rice
surprised.
poison this one.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
fucking crazy. I get it.
I start stretching on Jimbo's shoulder.
Limbered
Yeah,
up a
I'm
wee
gonna
bit.
I'm gonna also do some calisthenics. I'm gonna like think of all my thoughts. I kind of gotta psych myself out a little bit because this looks intense.
Yeah, it's
So there is a definitive exit, yes?
Vero's just trying to make a mental note of everything that everyone's doing right and wrong, so he knows what to do next if he ever does
Yeah.
this.
Oh yeah, that's no fun though.
Yeah, you oddly, while people did emerge together, Vero, since you took that note, while you did see people emerge together in these groups, it doesn't appear like anyone's really helping anyone besides Ison.
Hmm.
May I
She's
do
the
some
warding chick.
investigation?
She's doing the best
or,
she can to like
look
protect
around?
everyone, but everyone else is kind of continuing on doing their own thing. That's the only notable thing you'd see that anyone's doing wrong necessarily. Moment for an olive. As it zooms in over to Jimbo and Schnur.
So I just want to double check here. Sorry. We're all on like big ass stones in lava, right?
No.
And
Not yet. We're
following the
watching.
line.
We're watching everybody else do that shit. I think, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So I can't do what I want to do yet.
You're watching a magical hologram of this. It's actually happening somewhere else.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
So is it our turn to like? Let's just jump in this pit, see what's up, huh?
You can't jump
It
in.
seems totally
It's
safe.
just a watching basically. But this moment would give
Oh,
you and
well,
Schnurr time to reflect about what you guys are doing here, essentially how dangerous the trials are.
I think they'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, warm down there, but
Yeah, you would care if it's toasty.
I think we got this.
Stick me in the oven, bro.
It's just. What do you think the strategy is?
Try and keep you away from the heat and keep me near it.
Mm.
Find the exit. Roll with that.
And break.
Yeah,
we
I mean,
thinking?
this is your first look at how dangerous it is to advance through the graduations of years, the years of discipline. Any sentiments that you wish to express now is like the perfect time for that to role play that out between the two of you. This is basically that moment.
Well, what I would say is my first move would be to almost stereotypically grab Schnurr by the leg and chuck that bitch towards the entrance so she
Exit.
doesn't burn.
Towards the exit.
And then I just hope for the best for myself and try and be an optimistic cookie while I'm melting.
Yeah, that's a valid strategy. You guys are not currently taking the trial. It comes at the end of your year. So basically to move to the next year, that's when you have to take the trial. We're watching all the people that have gotten that far so far, and we're watching them die. We're watching most of them die.
Right. And that's just our hypothetical for when it comes time, for what we know for knowledge right now.
Yes.
Then if somebody's really mean, maybe push them in the lava.
Use them as a
Yes.
stepping stool.
It would be a good time to push someone into lava accidentally.
Okay, gang, don't forget, write down names of who you want to sacrifice.
Are we the only
Okay,
fans
fair
of
enough.
hopscotch?
And just as it
Good.
looks like it is genuinely the end of most of these contestants, like it doesn't look like really anyone is gonna probably make it to that finish line. That silhouette we've seen jump across with this crackling energy flies just over top these rivers of molten stone. And they surge and recoil beneath the energy of him as he fractures it like a causeway. Just into view, we see Hestus Heartland hovering above the lava, boots shaking, jaws clenched, arms outstretched. A faint levitation sigil beneath his feet as he's ferried across. He goes not just to the finish line, but grabs a contestant, takes them to the finish line and flies back. Grabs another person, flies back. Grabs another person, flies back. And time after time and after time, we see the sigil glowing fainter and fainter and fainter as he ferries nearly half of the applicants that we've seen make it this far there. So around like 20 people or so. And he's urging them on too. He's like, go, don't look down, don't look down. And as he does, he realizes that the stones are getting smaller and smaller. There is less and less place for people to even hold on while he grabs other people. So he starts spelling the sigil and casting it on people while ferrying other people. You see massive amounts of magic being displayed as he's not only able to cast the sigil and imbue it in one single turn while carrying someone else and maintaining focus on the sigil he has, but also being able to keep mental concentration and inspire others, be like, go, don't look down, just fly. And he's like kind of trying to instruct them, like, just pretend you're in water, swim. And the levitation symbol starts to like pick them up as they like start floating there and awkwardly try and paddle their way through the air above the lava. As he goes time and time again, you can feel the hope carried forward in the crowd, oohs and ahs. And by the time the last student has reached the solid ground, the spell beneath his feet flickers for just a breath too long. He takes one large exhale, a huge smile of satisfaction across his face as he begins to plummet downwards towards the massive wave of lava that's reaching upwards at him. This poetic picture of this energy fracturing off of him, leaving behind a comet-like trail as he falls down towards this reaching wave of lava. The two shadows of darkness bouncing almost like yin and yang behind him and behind the lava, yet these two symbols of light in the middle, the large wave of lava and the small humanoid figure that is Hestus. As he falls, this bright energy light sparkling off of him, and a huge audible silence ripples across the crowd again. People start smashing their feet against the ground in anticipation before light erupts from the lava itself, breaking it apart before freezing it into these jagged crystalline petals. This molten tide inches from Hestus's body. He plummets and smashes against it, crashing into this crystal-like structure that is formed, replaced by this calm, radiant hum. There's a figure just above him, now like levitating downwards. Grafton Yarif. And as this figure comes into view, Jimbo, around your shoulder and arm, like puts you kind of like in a headlock, wrapping around Schnur, wrapping around your neck, and an arm wraps around Solaris's neck, kind of bringing all three of you guys together as Ryza Yarif, the elfling with the white robes and the Fey language written on them, and who you guys had the rather interesting encounter with at the feast, comes into view and like smashes all your guys' heads together. She's like, you guys came to watch my big brother do it, look at him go. And Grafton Yarif perches down on this crystal that he just summoned to save Hestus, his robes completely untouched, not a scratch on him from the entire trial, his posture completely immaculate, sigils like these bright, vibrant, complex circles of this language that these sigils that actually look a lot like the language on Ryza's cloth, floating and rotating in these isometric rotations, kind of interlocking with each other. One smaller ring going one way, one medium ring going the other way, and one large ring orbiting the most opposite of the most inner ring. This very, very complex spear-like three-dimensional structure of a sigil you guys have never even comprehended being possible before, and it is floating behind him. And he kind of smiles, and he goes, you tried to save everybody, huh? And your magic ran out. Hestus laughs. Yeah, I guess I can't always live up to the reputation of the perfect pupil, huh? And Grafton laughs back. It's the pupil of perfection. Make sure you address me as such, or we won't be rivals for very much longer. And Ryza, who's now got like all three of you guys in a headlock, smashing her head in between all three of your heads as she like crams you guys together. She's like, ain't he so awesome? You know, my big brother was trained by the Grand Magistrate himself. Well, before he was the Grand Magistrate, but still, isn't that so cool?
It's pretty cool. I mean, like, he's doing good, but, like, don't, don't build him up too much, man.
Hestus coughs. Yeah, someone had to give you a reason to show off, huh? And the two of them basically just limp. Well, Hestus limps. And they just make their way, this crystalline structure of bright purple crystal petals rapidly makes a bridge just in front of them, completely freezing the lava and the stone, so Hestus can just like walk to the finish line. And with that, the third trial of the third year's trial of willpower is complete. And a record-breaking 70% of the class has passed. Congratulations! Not because you were perfect, but because you endured. You carried others, and because when hope wavered, some of you chose to stand steady. I, the Grand Magistrate Solinar Aethercrest, am truly proud of each and every one of you. Your future is so bright. He smiles, and with that, the trial has concluded. You see the teachers would probably be the first doing this so many times. They would kind of stand and everyone would kind of be like, oh, is that it? And then the hologram would fizzle out. The large embrickment of stone would eventually begin to start rolling up, probably from like the center outwards, very slowly. You could, at a leisurely pace, make your way out of there. Or if you have any other things that you wish to discuss with the people around you.
Vera would ask Draylen, so what do you think the plan would be when we do that trial?
He looks over at you. I can't deny, I have gotten stronger since our rivalry begun. I hope it is tenfold as strong by the time we take this test. And his eyes kind of linger off in the distance. Those guys kind of remind you of anyone?
Smirkingly, Vera was like, I don't know, maybe.
You know, you trying to always save everyone and me having to be there to save you. Imagine. Our strategy would probably be somewhat the same, huh? We just walk on through. One step at a time.
That's the goal.
He stands up. Well, I believe we'll probably be seeing you in class. Hopefully you didn't waste your elective choice. And he kind of like tightens his upper robe, but he lingers for a moment, almost turning his ear as if he's subtly asking you what you chose.
Well, it's probably better than your choice. What'd you choose?
Well, Silith told me that if I wanted a proper education, I have to start with the wisest, make my way to the most powerful. So, I'm taking arcane studies taught by Othelius Quillwright.
Is there anything you won't do to get away from me?
Ryza, who still has Jimbo, Schnur, and Solaris in a headlock, she's like, oh, that one's so cool, I'm taking that one too.
Cool. Can y'all discuss this when you're not, like, choking us to death? Thank you, though, but, like, I need to breathe.
You can squeeze a little harder.
Hey!
She's like, really? And she does too. She nuzzles her head into Solaris, and she's like squeezing you guys so hard. It's actually uncomfortable.
Well, fucking snuggle me, okay.
But then she frees you guys, and she too is gonna go about her business. And Asaro is still there. She has a look like she has many questions upon her face. Very puzzled look.
Yeah, I was
Well-
kind of thinking the same thing.
Yeah, why
Sarah,
your face
what's
look like that, girl? What are you thinking?
Oh, sorry, sir. Oh, I just feeling a little bit of pressure on my head,
Oh, yeah, me too.
and I think Schnur's a little bit squished. I think it would be like to. Sorry, what was your name again?
Riza.
Sorrow? Riza.
Riza. If you could be a bit more gentle, that would be kindly appreciated.
I'm over here just choking to death.
She smiles and she's like, okay. As long as that means I get to give you guys more hugs in the future. And she lets you guys go.
Nah.
Yeah, no, you guys already agreed to it. Contract made. No, I'm just kidding. But,
There was no blood
and
involved,
totally
it's not
in
a contract.
character, that's what she would say. No takesies,
That is a good
backsies.
point.
And yeah, you guys still have Rivens there. If you want to comment on those remarks or see what that glaring eye was about, Jimbo. Or
Yeah, let's.
Draylen's
up.
basically leaving Asaro. She's got like this questionable look on her face, but she's probably gonna follow Draylen when he leaves. And then Riza's just there too.
When Jimbo goes to talk to her, ask about that, I slowly walk behind Jimbo, like without the other person seeing me, in case they say something.
Okay.
I got your back, Jimbo. I got your back.
Hope so, brother. I hope so. Not everyone gets a forehead kiss. No,
So if
nothing.
there's,
Okay, that's fine.
if you guys
The
have
drink
no
isn't
closing
grilled.
remarks, you can leave.
Oh, let's get out of here.
Yeah, I guess we're done, right? Oh, hey,
Yep.
y'all, can we swing by the potion shop? Or, like, is that close? Or, like, what's up with that?
Oh, it's a
I think there's more
decent bit
to
away.
do.
We'll definitely have to tackle that one in a different.
Okay,
episode.
okay.
Yeah, it's in the city that is around Mystery.
Yeah, okay, alright. Are there any, like secret potion dealers in an alley where they have them in their coat? You guys want to buy some potions?
There are definitely students that peddle potions.
Yeah, some, like, street potions,
I grab Stellaris. I was like, come on.
Okay,
You guys
okay.
make off before another market day can ensue.
Okay.
And in front of you, there are only 3 days left until the new year begins and until your classes begin. So in the next episode, we will tackle the last series of events before the new year truly begins. And then after that, we will be on to the actual classes. And you guys will have so much magic that you will be able to learn with each class. And then, of course, we'll have our adventures in between where we see what you guys would just like to be able to do on the daily in between. So there's so much more coming on the journey ahead. And until next time, stay weird, stay wild, and keep your spells prepared. It's dangerous out there, and we really care. Till the next time on Spells and Scepters.